everyone. Welcome. Thanks so much for your patience. Welcome to the 2024 Miller Prize Pitch-Off. Woohoo! My name is Isabel Skellinger. I'm the Assistant Director of Student Programming at the Tsai Center for Innovative Thinking at Yale. Thank you all so much for being here today. Hope you had a chance to join some of the other programming happening today at Startup Yale. It's been a really awesome day. All right. I'd like to first start this pitch competition with a land acknowledgement. Yale University acknowledges that Indigenous peoples and nations, including Mohegan, Mashantucket Pequot, Eastern Pequot, Golden Hill Pagusset, Niantic, Quinnipiac, and other Algonquin-speaking peoples, have stewarded through generations the lands and waterways of what is now the state of Connecticut. We honor and respect the enduring relationship that exists between these peoples and nations and this land. To recognize the land is an expression of gratitude and appreciation to those whose territory you reside on, and a way of honoring the Indigenous people who've been living and working on the land from time immemorial. So the Miller Prize awards a grand prize of $25,000 to the best student-led venture developing innovative tech or tech-enabled solutions. In a moment, you'll be hearing from 4 awesome finalists who were selected from a very competitive pool of applications. This prize is made possible by Brian Miller, founder and chief investment officer of North Sound Partners. Brian initiated this competition at Yale 9 years ago with the goal of supporting young minds creating world-changing technology. So a big thank you to Brian for his support of the teams, as well as for the North Sound Partners team, who you'll be seeing, for support of the teams you'll be seeing today, and for the broader student community at Yale. And on that note, I'd like to introduce Brendan McGuire from North Sound to give a few remarks. Brendan is a portfolio manager and director of research at North Sound. So welcome, Brendan.
Hey everyone, they told me to feel the vibe. I guess the vibe is on stage, so I'll come up here. It's great to be here. I work with Brian Miller of the Miller Prize at North Sound Management. We are an investment firm that invests in multiple asset classes, including public equities, private directs, and external managers. I've been with the firm for 10 years, so this is our 9th year with the Miller Prize. We're honored to partner with Yale and support the entrepreneurial efforts of the university. It's been an amazing ride watching what the Miller Prize has become. We love seeing the large number of applicants each year and watching some of our winners and how well they've done. We've had a few amazing winners, and we're excited today to award the next great Miller Prize winner. And if anyone wants to chat afterwards, I'm happy to chat with you guys later today. But congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Brendan. I don't know why this isn't working, but right now I'd like to also introduce our panel of judges. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Introduce our panel of judges who will help us select the winners today. These judges have deep experience in technological innovations, and we're super grateful for their support. So when I introduce you, feel free to give a little wave. But Shirley Romig is the Chief Accelerator Investment Officer at Techstars. Wasu Aitaragu is a Yale School of Management alum and Director of Product Management at Constrafor. Desiree Vargas Wrigley is the Chief Innovation Officer of P33 and Executive Director of TechRise by P33. And John Casano is the founder at Strike Labs. So thank you all so much for being here today. Oh. One more judge, and Lana Groff is an impact investor at Disruptive Technologies and Funds Group at the International Finance Corporation. Thank you all so much. Another round. All right, and here's a rundown of what to expect from the Miller Prize pitch competition today. Each team will have 5 minutes to pitch, and then we'll take 10 minutes of Q&A from the judges. After we've heard from all 4 finalists, the judges will then deliberate to choose a grand prize winner. If you all have been here all day and been to other pitch competitions, you know the drill about audience choice, but just as a reminder, you as the audience will be able to vote on your top team, and the team with the most audience voice will receive an audience choice award as well. So there are voting cards on your seats, and then after you fill that out, please deposit it in the ballot box over at this table over here. There'll be pens over there as well if you need to borrow a pen. And then we'll announce both the grand prize winner and the audience choice winner for the Miller Prize, as well as the winners from all the other prizes from today, this afternoon at 4 p.m. after the keynote, also in this room in Logia. So I definitely encourage everyone to stick around for that so we can celebrate our winners and our finalists. So without further ado, happy to kick things off. I'd like to welcome our first team, Transcribe Glass, to the stage. Transcribe Glass is the world's first affordable, comfortable, wearable smart glass device for people with hearing loss. Madhav, take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Madhav and I'm the founder of Transcribe Glass. My journey starts 5 years ago when one of my friends dropped out of high school. He was deaf and he found it difficult to understand what friends and teachers were saying. I remember thinking, it's 2018, there's got to be some sort of technology to help people with hearing loss understand conversations, right? My friend told me about how hearing aids cost thousands of dollars, cochlear implants cost even more and require invasive surgeries, and sometimes these devices just don't work well. I remember asking him, well, what about the 500 million people with disabling hearing loss? And he said, well, most of them don't even use hearing aids, leading to $600 billion in societal loss. So I asked my friend, well, okay, why don't you just use speech recognition and see what people are saying on a phone, right? I mean, after all, 1 billion people use apps like this. He said he tried it and it was really inconvenient. He said, as someone with hearing loss, I depend on reading lips and looking at facial expressions and hand gestures. So doing this back and forth between the phone and the speaker and the phone and the speaker, it's like watching a tennis match. It's so inconvenient. And quite frankly, I think it's awkward having to look at a phone when someone's speaking to me. And that's when I had the idea. Why not bring closed captions to your field of vision in real time? And that's exactly what Transcribe Glass is. Affordable, lightweight, wearable smart glasses that caption conversation in your field of view for $95. This is what it looks like if you wear it.
Okay, so hi, I'm Tom, and this is Transcribe Glass, subtitles for the real world.
Unlike existing AR devices that cost thousands of dollars, are heavy, uncomfortable, and have poor battery life, Transcribe Glass costs $95, weighs half an ounce, and has 8 hours of battery life, and it attaches to existing glasses, meaning you can wear it even if you have prescription lenses. Oh, and you won't look like a dork wearing ski goggles. Transcribe Glass was patented in 2019. User feedback has been one of the most important inputs for us. When I started this, I would go every Sunday to a church where there would be a deaf meetup so I could get feedback from people. To date, over 350 people have used the device, both in short-term and longitudinal in the wild trials. Users have said the device adds between 10 to 1,000 times more value than viewing captions on a phone screen, and we've noticed a 75% reduction in word error rate, a key metric to measure speech comprehension. Over the years, we've built 6 versions of the prototype, talked not only to end users, but also customers like corporates, universities, movie theaters like Regal, and retailers like Best Buy who want to purchase the device. We've been recognized by the Prime Minister of India, Microsoft, Accenture, Tech for Good, and in 2021, we won the Universal Design Award. We've received grant funding from Pfizer, the US State Department, and the Indian government. And last summer, we went viral. We got 70 million views on a product demo video and 150,000 followers on social media and 15,000 pre-orders for the product, all while spending $0 on marketing. Our team has the perfect combination of skills and background to solve this problem. I've been kind of obsessed with this and have been fortunate to have won an Indian presidential gold medal. Tom, who's in charge of go-to-market strategy, has had bilateral hearing loss since age 3. Pyung Woo is our ex-Apple technical genius, and we're supported by industry experts, including the head of accessibility at Google. Initially, we'll sell the device for $95 directly to customers, on which we make an 80% margin. Then we'll sell to businesses who are mandated by the Americans with Disability Act to provide accommodations to people with disabilities. Regal Cinemas spent $10 million outfitting their cinemas with expensive Sony caption glasses that cost $1,500, so they were very excited about our price point. And accessibility departments at universities want to buy the device so they can give it to their deaf students as an accommodation. We'll reach users through social media, influencer partnerships, and targeting the 1 billion people who already use these apps. The future of AR is not walking around with heavy, bulky devices watching Netflix on it. It's about traveling to a foreign country and seeing live translation in your field of view, or navigating to somewhere new without seeing the GPS on your phone, or seeing your heart rate in your field of view as you run. All of this is possible with Transcribe Glass. In the future, we'll move to a subscription model where we open a platform for third-party developers to build their own apps on our device. We're so ready to launch. We have a manufacturer set up. We have 15,000 pre-orders. We've even got the packaging and the logistics set up. But all we need to do is pay upfront manufacturing costs and keep our hardware product manager on board. And that's where the Miller Prize is critical in being a bridge to get transcribed glass to the hands of users. Don't just take my word for it. We get thousands of emails a month from people who are convinced transcribed glass will be life-saving for them. Some want it for their husbands, others for their mothers, and some for their deaf twin daughters starting their freshman year at college. Help us make conversations accessible to everyone. Thank you.
Okay. First question, maybe any technological bottlenecks? What is the technology readiness?
Yeah, so as you can see, this is the 6th version of the prototype. And we've iterated so much on it that at this point, we even have features where like people have said, oh, you know, if it's too close to the eye, I start getting headaches. And so what we've done is we've projected the image really far in front of you. And you can actually, with a knob here, change that. So in technologically readiness, we've actually manufactured these with a manufacturer and shipped it out, given boxes to our customers, and they've used it for months in use cases that we didn't even foresee. So we're kind of ready for at least the first version to get to the customer without any technical bottlenecks.
And where is manufacturing happening?
In India. We have a manufacturer set up. Yep.
Hi. Can you talk a little bit about the defensibility of your patents or anything that sort of builds the moat for you technologically?
Yeah. So our patent covers all the physical systems. So the retrofit mechanism, which allows the device to attach onto existing glasses, that's covered. The electronics, the optical system, how the image is projected. And essentially, we're using a very low-cost architecture, which allows us to sell this at $95 versus $3,500. And all those things that go into the mechanical, optical, and electronic systems is covered in our patent. I think also a lot of the defensibility in the future comes from customer loyalty, because this is a product that, you know, is a consumer product. We've got a lot of following, and it's very specifically targeting a must-have need. People really want this because it's going to change their lives, and that loyalty is going to, in the end, become a high switching cost for customers.
How about the transcription? Is it your own software, or are you paying any royalties for the transcription services?
Yeah, so we're using third-party speech recognition, APIs. So one thing we do that a lot of others don't do is we're doing what's called caption source independent. So there's many ways of getting captions. You could use Google, Apple, but you could also use this thing called stream text, where there could be a human captioner sitting here typing something and streaming it to the web. We support that. We also support digital pre-formatted subtitles. So for example, for a movie, you could load in the subtitle files for a movie and watch it. And so we're independent of caption source. So to your question, yes, a lot of ASRs are supported. So we use Google Cloud, we use IBM, we use Microsoft, and we've already got $20,000 to $50,000 in credits to those. And so we don't need our beta users to pay for that. But once we move to the subscription model, that'll be covered by the cost.
The reason I'm asking is that you're projecting 80% profit, right? It will eventually cut into your profits at scale. Do you have a plan for how you cut costs on transcription side?
Yes, exactly. So two things. One is we will in the future introduce a subscription model, which levels by tiers based on how much people are using it. And so that covers the subscription costs. But the second thing is we also have on-device models that are free to use. So Android and iOS provides free models that no one has to pay for, and we don't pay for them either. And they're pretty accurate and work without internet as well.
How much do you need to satisfy the existing demand that's sitting there, the 15,000 customers that are waiting?
Yeah, so it's going to take about $12,000 to pay for the molds and the test equipment. It's going to take about $3,000 to pay upfront costs for electronic raw materials. And then we want to keep our hardware product manager on board because he's the one interfacing with the customer. And so keeping him on board for about 9 months is $10,000.
But I mean, if you want to really take this to market, how much more money do you need besides the 25,000?
Really take it to market, meaning beyond the 15,000. Mm-hmm. I would say scaling up to then a version 2 of the product, and then targeting 100,000 users or more is probably going to be around $1 million.
Okay, great. And then I'm assuming that you can translate with the technology. So okay.
Yep, we already got that running. Yeah.
Great.
Any other questions from the judges?
What's your next closest competitor?
The next closest competitor is XR AI glasses. They cost $400. They're not building their own hardware. They use Nreal, this company, and that basically has a wire that connects your phone to the glasses and then projects the phone onto the glasses, but they're targeting deaf and hard of hearing people.
So maybe on the business model. So is it supposed to be updated, connected to the phone, right?
Yes.
And at the same time, it's one-time purchase, $95. And then the rest, even if the updated version or some other functionality would be there, it would be what we call given
Yes.
for free?
Currently, we're doing just, for our beta, for shipping out to those 15,000, we're doing just an upfront cost on which we make the 80% margins. Once we move to the other use cases like translation and all those things, we'll have a subscription model where, for example, we could even give them the device for free, lock users into a 1-year subscription and $10 a month, and that's, you know, a recurring revenue. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's welcome our next team, Parts Match. Parts Match is a custom GPT that leverages the power of AI and machine learning to empower automotive and motorcycle dealers to make informed inventory management decisions. Over to you guys.
I'm Skylar Wilson.
And I'm Griffin Wilson, and we're the co-founders of Parts Match, and we're on a mission to turn obsolete inventory into working capital. Like a lot of startups, Parts Match started with a failure. In the summer of 2022, my dad brought a trailer full of obsolete inventory, which is inventory that's 12 months old or older, to our family motorcycle dealership and tasked us with trying to sell it online. So we tried Shopify and we tried eBay, and it just really didn't work for 2 reasons. One, it's a huge pain to try and upload hundreds of parts with individual part numbers, photos, and descriptions. And 2, and most importantly, we noticed there was pretty limited demand for mechanical parts in the business-to-consumer market. We knew there had to be a better way, so we created it. Parts Match is a business-to-business marketplace and an AI-powered co-pilot that helps automotive and motorcycle dealers eliminate their obsolete inventory and turn it into working capital.
The Parts Match marketplace enables automotive dealers to buy and sell obsolete inventory. This empowers the parts managers that work at these dealerships to have greater control over their stock. It does this by providing an additional avenue for them to source needed parts from other dealerships that wouldn't otherwise be available, as well as selling their obsolete stock on the platform. This generates additional turnover, which feeds into increased sales revenue and increased profits. But we also wanted to attack the obsolescence problem at its source. If you weren't able to identify it, you would have no idea it was there. And so we built the co-pilot, which is every parts manager's strategic advisor. It gives data-driven insights backed by our proprietary machine learning algorithms, which forecast demand and obsolescence risk, as well as giving intense knowledge on how to deal with the obsolescence problem. On top of that, our co-pilot automates the integration of the marketplace with the dealer management systems where the data is held. That way, the parts managers are not spending a ton of time doing bulk uploads or adjusting the descriptions, adjusting the prices and things like that. And it can even source parts from the marketplace automatically from repair orders so that they spend less time on obsolescence and more time on managing their parts department.
According to the National Auto Dealers Association, the average automotive dealership has over $50,000 in obsolete inventory. By using Parts Match, dealers can offload this inventory and turn it into working capital, which they could then redeploy into the various sectors of their business. For example, if they were to reinvest it in fast-moving parts, they can net up to $164,000 in gross profit per year. The automotive industry is also currently in the cycle of consumption without sustainability, and obsolescence is a major contributor to this. Dealerships frequently face the problem of managing their obsolete inventory and will often resort to writing it off and disposing of it in landfills. Parts Match disrupts this trend by forging a circular economy and by helping to eliminate production waste one part at a time. This is our roadmap for success. We currently have 341 dealerships on our waitlist, and we've had the privilege of being accepted to both the Tsai Accelerator Program and the Tsai Summer Fellowship Program. After Demo Day wraps up for the Tsai Summer Fellowship Program in September, we will be launching Parts Match.
And so this is why Parts Match crushes the competition. We're the only company in the automotive software space that combines an AI-powered copilot with a business-to-business marketplace. This already puts us one step ahead of the competition, but on top of that, we're brand agnostic. So any manufacturer all of the parts from any manufacturer are listed on our platform. As well, we have an intense focus on obsolescence and helping that for our dealers and a dealer-centric approach.
We're the team to invest in because we have over 35 years combined experience in the automotive industry with our fourth co-founder, who happens to be my brother and I's dad. We have deep existing connections with dealers across North America that gives us awesome ability to scale. And most importantly, we are super passionate about turning Parts Match into a massive success.
With the proceeds from the Miller Prize, we will be able to access essential parts catalogs from major manufacturers, enabling us to launch as a fully integrated, robust product with a B2B marketplace that has the professional look and the information needed to be successful.
Thank you.
I'll start, okay? Could you please describe the customer profile?
So our customers are automotive dealers, so your car dealers, your motorcycle dealers. The person that would be most using the Parts Match product would be the parts managers. So they're in charge of bringing in the parts if you come in and they're selling the parts as well.
Those who are buying from, let's say, this platform, not only trading, whatever is in the inventory on idle, why would they buy, through this platform, not through anything else? Is there a price?
So traditionally, parts managers, when you come in for a repair on your vehicle, if they don't have the parts existing in their inventory, they source them from the manufacturer, which tends to that has long lead times, and there's a cost associated with ordering those parts from the manufacturer. What we're trying to do is create a network of dealers that can rely on each other to source needed parts. So for example, if someone came into my store with repair and they needed parts X, Y, and Z, and I didn't have them in my inventory, the traditional route would be to order them from the manufacturer. Our method with Parts Match would be I could then go and source them from my brother's dealership, oftentimes at a discount because you're dealing with obsolete parts. So for example, he would have them, they're obsolete for him, I need them, he lists them at a competitive discount, so I'm able to source them for below cost.
And then sell them at the industry standard markup, which is 40%.
Last one from my side on AI. So you mentioned that platform powered by AI. So what exactly is there? It's for internal operations, for search, like any predictability?
Yeah, so it provides predictive analytics on which parts have future high demand, which parts have a high obsolescence risk. So it basically allows the parts managers to assess which parts are at risk of becoming obsolete so they can either decrease prices so they sell more in store or, for example, list them on our marketplace. On top of that, it also categorizes the inventory in like a Kanban kind of style where it's like, these are your essential parts, these are your non-essential parts, and then your obsolete parts.
Hi. Was when your dad came home with all the obsolete parts, was this the first solution you landed on? Had you gone through iterations? And if you go through the accelerator and explore this path and build towards this path and realize that you need to pivot in some way, what do you imagine this business might shift to next?
Yeah, so our first try was to try and sell some of these parts to customers that came into the store, but when people come into the store, the motorcycle store, they're not really looking for like random mechanical parts. They're looking at bikes. So we wanted to try and expand that market, which is why we went on Shopify and eBay, because that's kind of like what you do when you're trying to sell stuff online in the business setting. And when we did that, we loaded everything from like gloves and boots and jackets to like exhaust systems. And the stuff that did sell was like aftermarket stuff and the boots and things like that. Nobody was buying the like exhaust systems or brake pads and things like that. And so we thought, like, there has to be a better way, because one of the things my dad did is there was a dealer, a BMW dealer in Kelowna. My dad purchased the parts at a really big discount from him and then sold them to customers in his network for, I think he bought a Turbignoni exhaust pipe for like $500 and sold it to somebody for $5,000. And if we have to pivot, I think one of the things that we're gonna do is, there's definitely strong demand for a business-to-business type marketplace. There's not really anybody doing it in a strict business-to-business model. We might pivot away from like the AI stuff if that shows to not have a whole bunch of value. But right now we're actually beta testing it to see, make sure that that dealers find value in it.
And the benefit of our business is that it is very scalable and expandable. It could be used across any manufacturing parts industry, so we could expand into construction, we could expand to marines, motorcycles, really anything that has a network of people that are looking to exchange and buy and sell parts.
So shipping here is one of the logistical challenges, and so I'm curious how you are advising your clients to handle the shipping piece.
Yeah, so right now we are starting with a localized group. So these two are both from Canada, and that's where most of their connections are. And so we're starting mostly on the West Coast in Canada and having it be a group of dealerships. The 341 dealerships are mostly in the same area in Canada, so that makes shipping logistics a little bit easier. We also don't want shipping costs to be a deterrence to using the site. And we are most likely going to be outsourcing our shipping to a third-party logistics company. And we are in a few conversations with those groups of people, just trying to find the best deal for us, what the best fit is for us, because we don't ship large truckloads of items. We ship smaller items, and that come at varying sizes and varying dimensions, which makes shipping more expensive. And then eventually, down the line, we see ourselves also doing our own shipping and having the warehouse for that.
And I should pass this on, but I didn't hear about how you help with perfecting on price. Is that part of the AI?
Yeah, so the traditional model with car parts is they do something called matrix pricing, and that depends on the margin for high volume parts usually tends to be upwards of 70%. And so part of what's built into the AI model is it based on the demand forecast, it helps optimize the prices either by raising them on high volume parts or decreasing them for low volume parts. Yeah.
And we'll also take data from our marketplace, seeing at where parts are being sold at, what the prices are, and that'll be factored into the AI model as well.
So most of the dealers actually deal with specific brands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how does being brand agnostic give you any advantage?
It's so that when dealerships have, for example, in rural areas, people will go towards their nearest dealership regardless of what brand it sells. So if you're a Toyota dealer, you might have a used Ford come in. And it's actually, other than calling the next dealer over and buying the parts not even at wholesale, at full price, and then putting them on the car, there's no actual way for other dealers to source parts from other manufacturers. The other thing, by being brand agnostic, we're not pigeonholing our customers into only supporting certain brands. So it allows us to scale a little bit more and provide services to all types of customers.
So are you looking at only the obsolete inventory or the inventory that has shelf life? Because that's a bigger problem, right?
Yeah, it would be all inventory, but our focus is on obsolete inventory because it's like a specific subset of inventory, and it is a common pain point for automotive dealers. I mean, I've heard it at the dinner table, 100 times every time my dad comes home from work. So,
and it's a difficult problem to solve, and usually results in taking a write-off and chucking out the parts. There really isn't an existing platform that lets dealers buy and sell obsolete inventory. And the assumption that we've made is that there's demand for the part out there, you just haven't reached the right customer. But without in a business to consumer setting, it doesn't work because people don't necessarily buy hard parts. So we figure if we sell it to the dealership that has that customer, then we provide that connection.
So I guess just one last question. We have about 2 minutes left. Can could you explain, I guess, the current technical readiness level of the platform and the business model exactly? Thanks.
Yeah, so I'll cover the technical readiness. So the Copilot is about to be demoed next week, actually, and we're looking to add additional features before we launch in September. But the initial data analysis piece and AI piece is finished, and there's a user interface that we're going to be sending out and testing with several dealerships that we have on our wait list. And the marketplace is slated to be finished in mid-June. And once that happens, we're going to beta test the marketplace with a small group of dealers and make sure there aren't any pain points before actually fully launching in September.
And then for the monetization piece, we will have a multi-source revenue system. So we are going to do a subscription model for the B2B marketplace and the integrated AI Copilot. And then we will also be taking a small commission fee off of every transaction that goes through our site. That's mostly to cover the shipping costs that we discussed before. We don't want it to be a lot of our competition takes a large chunk of commission, and we don't want that to be something that dealers have to face when they're trying to turn over discounted parts. So we're doing a smaller commission fee, but also doing the monthly subscription fee just to maintain kind of loyalty to our brand. We don't want people to use our platform to call other dealers, so that subscription fee enables them to feel more comfortable using our marketplace. And then we could also do paid marketing, so dealers can market their dealerships to other dealers on the site, and also kind of like how Google works, they'll be able to market their parts higher up on the page. Yeah. And then we'll also offer initial setup service if a dealer wants us to help onboard their
with the bulk
dealership.
upload
Yeah.
of their parts.
Yeah.
For any more information, you can scan that QR code. It'll take you to our website. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure to pitch to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Thank you. All right, up next we have Catala. So Catala offers catalytic membranes to decarbonize industrial water treatment. So whenever you're ready, James.
Thank you. Supposed to be there yet? Hello, everyone. My name is James Liccato, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Catala, and I'm very excited to present our innovative approach to water treatment to you all today. In our country, producing just 1 barrel of oil generates, on average, 5 barrels of deeply contaminated and incredibly dangerous water. Now, this produced water, as it's called by the industry, is laden with heavy metals, toxic organic contaminants, and can have salinities up to 4 times that of seawater. Just last year, over 1 trillion gallons of this water was generated in the United States. And to give you a sense of scale, it's about the amount of water that was withdrawn from the entire Colorado River Basin in the same amount of time. But where does this water go? Well, if not treated properly, it goes into our oceans. And that's exactly what's happening offshore routinely. Offshore production platforms fail to treat these pollutants using current systems. They use granular activated carbon, or GAC, which is an adsorbent that traps and separates these pollutants from water. But GAC suffers from 3 main pain points. In our conversations with offshore operators, we've learned. The first is that GAC simply does not effectively treat certain kinds of pollutants, like organic acids, right? So it fails complete treatment. The second is that it has an incredibly wasteful disposal cycle, doubling operational expenses in boating this loaded waste material back to shore to regenerate. And then we has to undergo a thermal regeneration process, which is incredibly carbon intensive. And lastly, these systems fail, right? Violating regulatory guidelines, polluting our environments, and this costs these platforms hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in shutdown times and fines. Catala functions as a drop-in replacement to this entire system. Now, what does our solution look like? Well, by building on years of experience from my co-founder's lab, Professor Jae-Hong Kim, and my CTO, Claire Chenard, by building on that research, we've developed a catalytic membrane treatment technology. And our IP inside the membrane is this catalyst, right, that generates reactive radical species from a simple precursor salt that we add to the incoming waste stream. These reactive radicals can then attack and destroy these organic pollutants, reducing them down to their most simple, harmless forms. And we achieve true treatment. Now, these membranes have applications in a multitude of industries, but we believe that the offshore oil and gas market offers us the best opportunity, both economic opportunity and climate opportunity to have an impact. And they need the solution. We've talked with dozens of offshore operators, and we've learned about this market, which comprises around $18 billion globally for technologies that specifically treat water-soluble organics. But our beachhead is around $500 million in the US Gulf. Compared to the industry standard, Katala requires 1,000 times less energy, which means 1,000 times less emissions, and we can treat at 5% of current costs. Currently, GAC costs around $10 per barrel to treat. Katala's projected OPEX is less than 50 cents per barrel, leaving a lot of room to provide value for both the startup and the service provider. To go to market, that's who we'll sell to. We will work with an OEM to produce and manufacture these membrane skids. We'll deliver them to oilfield service providers like Baleen and Siemens, working with them to pilot, integrate, and deliver this solution to offshore platforms. But our vision doesn't just stop there. This platform technology can be applied across a multitude of industries and markets, each one larger than the last. And we truly believe that it can be a breakthrough technology, specifically in the climate economy. And this is where the Miller Fund comes in. All right, the Miller Fund bridges this critical funding gap between our proof of concept and between a pilot. And this is how we get to market, right? We've proven out this technology, validated it at bench scale, but in order to reach pre-pilot readiness, which is what these service providers need, we require between $25,000 and $50,000 to build this prototype and validate it over the next 2 quarters. The demand for this technology is there, the environmental need is prevalent, and the prototype needs to be built now. And we hope that the Miller Fund will allow us to do that. Our team is equipped to build. Since starting this venture with Professor Jae-Hong Kim a little over a year ago, we've assembled a multidisciplinary team, including 2 doctoral researchers, a material scientist, and a membrane scientist. And I've been fortunate enough to work with Claire, brilliant PhD student, who has helped develop this technology into something that is truly commercializable. In addition, working with Maya and Abrar, 2 of my fellow Yale engineers, to build this prototype. Ultimately, Katala is looking to revolutionize membrane treatment technology in a water-scarce world. We believe that this market is the market that gives us the best opportunity to do that, and we believe that the Miller Fund can help us get there. Thank you.
So maybe a question on the competition. Almost every single university has the lab that right now focusing on filtration. So maybe a couple words on the competition, what you see, like who is faster to the market, like what is the success criteria?
Sure. So the main difference between our technology and other technologies that are being developed in other labs is our technology isn't just filtration. It combines filtration, which is a separation process, and an advanced oxidation process, which is a destruction process. Now, most of the time when you see, in industries, AOPs are separate from, so destruction processes separate from separation processes. We've unified them in one membrane, so combining them. And this is IP that is really not in the commercial marketplace yet, so we're looking to have a first mover advantage, specifically in this one, because current separation processes like reverse osmosis simply cannot function offshore with these high salinities, right? But we use ceramic membranes. And these membranes can function in incredibly harsh conditions and have a very long lifespan. In terms of, did that answer your question?
Yeah, perfectly. And then if, membrane sold, what's happened next? Like, would the customer would need another one, or there is some servicing fee, like, to improve the quantity?
Yeah, so our idea is that we provide, so this $10 cost, let me jump to it. That $10 per barrel cost, that is the cost of an integrated solution to deliver the granular activated carbon to treat off-platform this water that has water-soluble oils, right? So we would eat a chunk of that cost. Our OPEX is around 50 cents. So we deliver that, and that allows us, so that cost is comprised of reloading costs of the membrane, of servicing costs of the membrane, and mainly, the main cost for us is that chemical component, right? That precursor salt. That's our main chemical cost, to destroy contaminants. That's what we need in our system.
You've chosen to build in a really impactful and difficult field. Provided your pilot, say you win this prize, you get the money, you do the pilot, it's successful. Tell me a little bit about what you think the commercialization process will look like for this, and what are the skill sets you're going to need to build around you to make that happen?
Absolutely. So in terms of commercialization process, once we get a full validated prototype, we will begin a data sharing and collaboration agreement with some of these offshore providers. We're already in conversation with Baleen Process Solutions, and once we have a prototype that we can deliver to them, and they give us water to test on, if those results are successful, they will allow us to pilot on their floor. They'll pay for that pilot. And they will go directly to the majors. So they have a facility in Louisiana. They will pilot with Exxon, Chevron, whoever has water that needs to be treated, Anadarko. Pilots then will roll out, depending on the success of the pilot, in a couple months. So between 3 and 6 months per pilot, generally, to prove out this technology. Then they'll start to deploy it to the field. And that can take months to years. They can deploy it in international markets. They're also active in Brazil and the North Sea, which also have great demands for this sort of technology. Regulations are springing up there as well, especially in Brazil. To answer your second question on the expertise that we need, the main one that we need is a business development lead. Now, we're a little early to bring one of those onto the team now, as we're still in the process of validating this scaled version of the technology. But in a couple months, so at the end of the summer, going into Q4, we're really going to start searching for a business development lead to fill that role as we look to enter into a real fundraising round at the beginning of next year, going into Q2 of 2025, which is when I graduate in May.
Can you help us understand what the actual footprint of this will be in the water? Like, how much space will this take up?
Yeah, absolutely. So granular activated carbon it's not a small system, right? Each one of these beds is thousands of pounds of essentially like black sand. These membranes are some of the most compact water treatment solutions that one can provide. And ceramic membranes are even more compact at that. So this is a high throughput, very compact solution. And that is actually something that has really, that it's encouraged a lot of our producers, right? Granular activated carbon beds are sort of like a catch-all in the water treatment industry, right? They're used to remove many contaminants, but in a lot of places they don't work very well, where there's no other solution. This is a solution that could potentially work with a lower footprint. So this is something that they'd be very encouraged to use. In terms of on ships, footprint, they use membranes already. So they use RO membranes on ships, so it's sort of been proven out in the marine ecosystem.
Great, thank you.
So assume that Baleen is your channel partner. You don't have to deal with oil and gas directly, because oil and gas is very, very bureaucratic in nature, and then breaking into them is like a big hurdle. So is Baleen one of your channel partners who will actually solve the problem for you, or?
Yes. So we're looking to sell directly to these oil field service providers, and then they sell our piece of the solution. So they sell integrated solutions, right? There are pre-treatment steps and post-treatment steps sometimes that are required for technologies like this, but Baleen and Siemens Energy in particular, SECCO, these companies, they'll sell a solution at a certain rate, and then we would take a cut of that rate depending on if what share of the technology is needed to treat that water. And that price can range, right? $10 is an average, and go as low as $5 and go as high as $30 or $50 per barrel, depending on the type of produce water. For this case, we just looked at produce water coming off of a platform that's consistently operating, but there's also markets for like well flowback. When they drill a well, there's like stuff that comes out that they can't put through the actual platform, so they'll send it to boats like this. That's another application for this technology. This is just in the offshore sector. This isn't even considering onshore or other industries as well. Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. All right, our final team is Replica. Replica is an AI-powered platform enabling brands to create ads with legally licensed celebrity images. Over to you, Replica.
Hello, everyone. In Replica, we help athletes monetize their image with AI. So we were college athletes ourselves, and we know that many athletes coming from underrepresented communities lacks of funds and time. So they even don't graduate because they don't have the resources. So that's why we created Replica, a platform in which they can connect with brands and sell their likeness through AI model that we can generate ads with AI, and we pay them royalties to them. So the value proposition for athletes is that we give them visibility. They can create an extra income without doing nothing. And for the brands and small and medium companies, they can access to celebrities in a very cheaper way, and they can even create multiple images with zero cost. So we have two business models. The first one, we are starting with a software as a service model, but now we are moving into a platform in which we can connect agents and celebrities with brands, and we can do the matching, the contract, and the advert generation, and then they can even approve the ads that go to market. So we are like a Cameo for brands with AI. So this is our images that we are creating. The first column are real images, the second one are replica ones, and you can see that we can outperform Midjourney and DALL-E by far. We can even create images from everyone. So this is a small demo. You can see here that you can select Austin Reeves, and we just prompt walking on a sidewalk in Paris with a facial expression smiling. And you can generate 3 images of him walking down the street, smiling in Paris. We can even change the facial expression, so we can now set, for example, sad. And I want to have more images of him, but sad, and we can create new images of him. We can also change the background. For example, we can do a Space Jam background with a galaxy, stars, bright lights, etc., and we can generate a new background for that image. And then we can even do some in-painting and change small parts of the image. So this is the team. Kush is the CTO. He's a bachelor in computer science from MIT with a lot of experience in AI research in CSAIL. Reese, who is in the GBS program in Yale School of Management and HEC. He's in charge of the brands and athletes relationships. Jacopo, who is from Italy, he has experience as well in Bain & Company and Amazon, and he's in charge of the pilots and sales execution. And myself, I am the CEO, Bachelor in Computer Science, MBA, and now a Master in Advanced Management at Yale. I previously founded 2 companies. One of them I exited in 2021 in a 7-figure deal, and now I am in charge of the fundraising and team lead. So in terms of traction, we are doing some pilots. This is a Switzerland watch manufacturer, and we are working with a soccer player in Poland. And in this case, this is Katie Boulter. She is the #1 UK player tennis, and with his Tumi. Those images are fully generated by Replica. Brands and agents love us. We have more than 21 LOIs and NDAs with big names such as Austin Reeves from NBA Lakers, Pierre Gasly F1, and also agents from NHL, NFL, and MLB. And we are also talking with Arturo Vidal, Carlos Sainz, Valtteri Bottas, very big names in the sports. The market size is huge. If we tap into the sport market, it's $4 billion a year, but we want to move into influencer marketing and celebrity marketing, and that'll be $160 billion a year. In terms of our roadmap, we're starting with pilots, and we want to launch in Q3 our platform with college athletes. Then we're going to go to pro players, influencers, and celebrities. In terms of the technology, we are now doing still images, but next year we're going to be doing videos for TikTok, for YouTube, and in 2026 we're going to be doing commercials for Amazon and TV, everything with our technology and AI. So we are in front of a huge opportunity here, but we need to move fast. With the $25,000, we can hire 2 full-stack engineers in Chile for 5 months and 4 interns at Yale College and MIT for 5 months. So having the Miller's Prize will be detrimental to our success. Thank you so much. Here are my co-founders coming to help some questions.
So I would love to learn more about the letters of intent and the pilot programs that you have in place, and how they're going, the type of legal agreements that are in place, and how they're being executed.
Yeah, sure. Very nice to meet you. I'm Reese. Yeah, so in terms of the LOIs and NDAs, essentially those are letters of intent to actually do a pilot. So these are agents and agencies who want to basically use the technology to work with brands. So they want to generate images of their players and athletes to actually create commercial images. And the majority of the reason they do that is because their players and athletes are always training, and they're always busy, and they're always flying around the world, and they have very little time to actually attend a photo shoot on the other side of the world. So yeah, that's and then the other part of your question was about the legal
pilot programs.
Oh, the pilot programs. Jaco is in charge of this.
Sure. So for the pilot programs, we have at the moment 7 of them: 3 in Europe, 3 in the US, and 1 in Latin America. And the use cases can be different, but overall, we are in touch with the agent, and we generate the images. Why the agent? Because the agent is, at the moment, is the, let's say, low-hanging fruit, in the sense that he's in touch with the player, obviously, and also with the brand. And we generate the images. And in terms of use cases, very quickly, we have everything from proper, let's say, Instagram posts that will be published on the athlete or brand site, to even like sort of the agent trying to partner with a brand. So the agent comes to us and say, could you generate an image so I can go to the brand and say, hey, this is what we could do.
Great. Just one more question for me. Why college athletes as a start instead of something that's more viral, like major influencers or something like that?
Yeah, so 2 reasons. The first one is simply the 4 of us, we're all well involved with sports, and we have quite a few connections in that area, so it was a bit easier. And second, why college athletes specifically is because compared like to big names who are already bombarded by brands and requests, college athletes are just starting, so it's a bit easier to reach out to them.
Hi. So you have really well-known and well-funded competitors. What gives you the special edge over those other tools? And then what do you intend to build specifically for this particular segment of the population that makes your product unique?
Yeah, so in terms of competitive advantage, compared to other image generators, first of all, we focus specifically on advertisement. And second, on the likeness of athletes. So for example, if you open up, as Mauricio mentioned and showed, if you open up DALL-E or Midjourney or other image generators, they are not specifically designed for advertisement. What does that mean? They don't have product placement, they don't have easy iterations, and also you cannot do celebrity marketing, so you cannot generate the image of a specific person. In terms, sorry, what was the second part of the question?
Yeah, and you're touching on it a little bit, like what specifically is on your product roadmap that makes it adaptable for this?
Yeah, so what we intend to do is first build a marketplace, so that's already defensible in itself. In terms of the product, the tech product, we intend to do first to touch upon all the value chain. So let's say starting from contract clashes, so to see whether a brand and an athlete can work together. Then when it comes to the image generation and video generation, not only generate the image, but for example, give cultural nuances. So let's say you are a big brand and you want to prepare an advertisement for Japan. It will not be the same as if you were doing it for France. Something else we want to do is, for example, to take the commercials, let's say your Nike from your past 10 years, so that what we generate is in line with your company's history and character. And also iterations. So really make something specific for marketers, so that from A to Z, they can really we can give as much value as possible.
So I definitely understand going to the athletes first. And then I'm assuming you go to brands to see if they even want to be on the platform, and that's the second part of the marketplace. But how do you assure the integrity of the brands that are coming on, especially if they're international and that they're not a paparazzi or some other kind of misaligned?
Yeah, it's very important that the athletes can choose with which brands they want to work with, and also they can approve the images before those images are going public. So this is sort of an approval system in which they can select. So they're not, it's not mandatory that they have to work with the brands that we are bringing. But we're also talking with big brands like Adidas, Puma, these kind of brands. So we don't see that problem yet, but obviously it could happen maybe.
And then are you building in something blockchain related or other that is going to allow for continued monetization of that initial image or unit?
Yeah, we are thinking about that. This is a possibility. Actually, with our technology, we can put a image generated by us, and we can know if it was generated by us. So that's a possibility in the future as well. Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you all so much. That concludes the pitch portion of the Miller Prize today. Another round of applause to our judges and to all the finalists who presented. So before we depart, please remember to vote for your favorite team to win the Audience Choice Award. Again, the cards are on your chairs. Before you leave this room, make sure to vote and put your card in the ballot box over by where Cassie is waving. That would be really great. And then you're also more than welcome to stay put in this room. So at 3 p.m., we'll be kicking off our keynote presentation featuring a fireside chat and live recording of the $1 Billion Creator Podcast featuring Nathan Barry and Yale alum Khalil Green. So judges, next up, I'll bring you to the deliberation room to pick the winner. Everyone, thank you all so much for joining us.